Hello everybody, we're here in Tigers Road in Wigston, and this is the test route for Leicester, test route number 5, and it's test route number 5 of 15, and we're coming to the end of Tigers Road. We're going to turn right at the mini roundabout here. So we're turning right at the mini roundabout, and that takes us into Saffron Road. It's a bit drizzly today, so you might see the window wipers going over every now and again, but I'll try and keep that down to a minimum. Yeah, so we're coming along Saffron Road, and it's taking us down to the traffic lights. Just go over the humpback bridge and through this crossing. This crossing is sometimes quite busy. And we're coming down to the traffic lights now. There's a little bit of a queue. So we're just going to come into the end of it. I'm going to stop so I can still see the tyres of the Ford Ranger that's in front of us. Still see the tyres on the road. Test route number 5 takes us through Wigston, and you'll see all the roads, all the kind of route listed out if you look in the description box below the video. So we are turning left. There's a keep clear here, so I'm just going to keep the keep clear and wait this side of it. When we do turn left here, we'll be turning into St Thomas Road. We're working our way all the way through South Wigston up towards the actual Wigston Magnet and Wigston. So we're just going round to the left. That takes us from Saffron Road into St Thomas Road. We have to leave the window wipers on, I'm afraid, guys. It's just one of those. It's one of those days. It is March, so I suppose it will rain, it will be drizzly. As we come through South Wigston here, you can see there's shops on either side. Normally it would be quite busy. We're in the grip of the coronavirus though, aren't we, at the moment? And there's not many people about, even though it's a Friday morning. We think this might be the last week that we're allowed out anyway, because they're talking about putting London on lockdown, so I suppose that will be, if that happens, it will be over the rest of the country as well. Going straight ahead at this mini roundabout here, just making sure that I can clear the roundabout before I moved in, and there's another keep clear there. So you could end up in a traffic queue along this road, along this section of this road, should I say. And you know, be careful about blocking junctions up, and also keep clear, like I said before. Make sure I can get over the crossing. As I approach this roundabout, I need to be in the right-hand lane because I'm going straight ahead. The left-hand lane takes you into Tesco's car park. We're not going into Tesco's today. It's very busy in Tesco, although there's not many people about. It's very busy in Tesco's, and that's because everyone's doing their traditional panic buy-in. You're very welcome, mate. It's fine. Doing their traditional, what's turned into now this year in 2020, their traditional panic buy-in on a Friday to get all their stocks in. Which I don't think is panic buying, really, is it? It's more just making sure you've got everything you need just in case you have to go into isolation. Also on the left as we come through here, there's a car park as well, so where Lidl is. So you could be going into either one of those car parks really, and doing your bay parking exercises, where you might be asked to reverse into a bay and then drive forward out, or drive forward into a bay, which strangely is more difficult, and then you know, reverse out of that bay. You do have to drive forward into the bay. Don't be tricked into thinking that's it, it's all over, I've got to, you know, I've done the difficult bit, now I'm just going to reverse out. when you are reversing out, make sure that you're looking over your shoulders all the time, because vitally important, not only for your safety and everybody else's, but also in terms of passing the driving test. So as we go ahead here, we can see there's a junction on the left and there's traffic lights. We're going to approach these traffic lights in the left-hand lane. These are the ones just outside the swimming baths, if it still is a swimming baths, in the left-hand lane. And because the right-hand lane takes us into the Everyone Active gym, which I'm sure there's a swimming in there still. But we're just carrying along this road, going past the schools that are on the right here now. We're lucky because we're doing this just before all the children turn up to go into school. But also, I don't think there'll be that many today because as of the end of today, all the schools are closing because of the COVID-19 coronavirus. So here we are, we're carrying along here. This is called now, it was Bravery Road and now it's called Station Road. And when we get to the roundabouts, the mini roundabouts at the end of this, when we just get round the next bend, we'll be turning right. So we'll go to the next mini roundabout, we'll turn right. And we can see that that's where it is. We check the mirrors, signal, and then we'll just drop the car into second gear. Everything looks pretty clear for us. Just take it nice and steady around the roundabout. You don't need to indicate to come off when on a mini roundabout, only on a big one. This is now Lanceton Road. It's spelt Launceston. like Leicester spelled wrong as well, I suppose. So Lanceton Road, and we're going to take this third exit on the left. So this is the first. There's a couple of kind of just cul-de-sacs here. One's called Poachins Close, that's one we just passed. Just along here we can see, just going to time our approach. That's it. So I've got a bigger space. So I was creating a space on the road for myself. That's the second one. We want the third one, which is this one here. And this is Redruth Avenue. And you may be asked to pull in and park just here, because this black car is very, very often there. And it gives the examiners a chance for you to do your hill start and also your move away at an angle or angled start that they try and get you to do. And don't forget, the examiner will ask you to pull in and park maybe 5 or 6 times, you know, through the test, so that you can see you do different things. Also, this road's a good road to do your kind of emergency stop or controlled stop, as they call it now. Anyway, we're going to come to the end of Redruth Avenue, and then we're going to turn left. And that's going to take us back onto Lanceton Road. As you come out here, on the left you'll see there's a car park where the co-op is. Also a good place to do bay parking and you know, either forward or backwards. The good thing about Lanceton Road is that, you know, it's a reasonably busy road, so they may ask you to pull in and park on the left anyway and just pull off. And when they do this, make sure that you're looking over your right shoulder in the first kind of half a metre that the car moves. The examiner will be looking for that. If you miss that blind spot, well, that blind spot check, should I say, then that's a real serious mark against you. Because it's going to ask you to pull in a few times, if you continue to miss it, then you won't pass your test. Okay, also it might ask you to pull in on the right hand side of the road here now, along this road here, because it's fairly straight, you can see a long way, and ask you to reverse back 2 or 3 car lengths and then rejoin the traffic. It's not really, I've not had a name for that, but that's a new manoeuvre really, well, last couple of years, and I've not really had a name for that yet, so I'm sure someone will think of one. maybe you could do that. Mainly people would say, well, that's the easy one, so maybe that's the name for it. Forget that, that's the easy one. You don't mind doing that one. So we're coming all the way to the end of this road. And I'm sure this road changes its name from Launceston to Horsewell something, like that down here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where that name changes. I don't suppose it matters. All that matters is we're coming to the end of the road and we're going to be turning left. Yes, according to the sign it's Horsewell Lane now, although we didn't turn any corners, did we? Okay, so we're now just going to get all the way to the line. As you turn left here, you need to be looking over your shoulder, but look both ways. Make sure that it's clear, and then you can move out. So we turn left from Horsewell Lane and we're now on Moat Street. That's M-O-A-T Street, Moat Street. And we won't be on Moat Street for very long because we'll soon be turning right. There's another mini roundabout just on this kind of bend here. And we're going to turn right when we get to that one. This mini roundabout is normally quite busy and it's quite blind on your right. So my advice at about this point here is to drop the car into first gear, and then if you can't see anything coming out of Long Street, don't just go, just creep forward a bit, because you can only get this far and you can only really see now, you see. So we just need to creep forward there just to make sure it's clear. There on our left is a chocolate Labrador. I have a chocolate Labrador. He wants to be everybody's best friend. So if you're going to get a dog, they're the ones. They're absolutely brilliant. But I am a bit biased. So we're on Moat Street now, and we're just coming through Elston. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're near Elston. Coming through Wigston. There you go. Alright, so coming through Wigston, or into Wigston, shall I say. And as we know, in the centre, in the town centre here, there is a mini roundabout again. Lots of mini roundabouts around here. And we'll be turning left at that one. And that takes us from Moat Street, and it's going to take us into Elston Lane. See, that's why I said Elston. I was thinking ahead of myself there. I was getting ahead of myself, and I've got to stop doing that. Okay, so there you go. So we're in Elston Lane now, and there's a double bend just as you get around to this bit, and you just have to be careful here. Again, normally this is a Friday morning. It's a strange Friday morning because there's not much traffic about. Normally at this time, absolutely teeming with traffic around here. Not today though. Elston Lane's quite a long road, and we can see, if you look on the near to the curves, I suppose, there's no parking restrictions along here. And you can see how busy it is even on a quiet day like today. So it may be that you'd be asked to pull in and park on the left down here as well, and then just pull off, just to see if you wait for a safe space, and then also make sure you look in your blind spot as you pull away. So they don't always go on the kind of quieter roads. Sometimes they'll go on roads that are more busy or busier, and they'll do they're kind of pulling away on that as well. You can just see a lollipop lady there, so she doesn't have many customers today. So well, it's not a lollipop lady, it's a lollipop man. There you go. Why do you always think it's a lady? I don't know. No, it's just one of those things, I suppose. as we come along Elston Lane, today, like I say, it's not as busy as it normally is, so we're quite lucky really. It means that we're making good progress. And you'll come around this bend, you'll be coming up to this crossing, and the examiner might say to you, take the second road on the right. And the reason he might say that is because the two right turns are quite close to each other at this point. So we're just going to let these lights change. Flashing amber means we can go if it's clear. So the first right is Bravery Road, don't want that one. The second right is Shackerdale Road, and that's the one we do want. So they are quite close together, so he may say take the second road on the right. Some do, some don't. The white van's just letting us in there so we can go round, and that's now brought us into Shackerdale Road. Some speed bumps on Shackerdale Road, so up we go and then down we go. It's just like being at the fair, isn't it, eh? just like the roller coaster. There's another a lollipop lady here. Now let's see, is it a lollipop lady or is it a lollipop bloke? It's a lollipop lady. There you go. Well, that's a good game, that is, isn't it? Okay, so as we come around here, we're going to take the next road on the right. And the next road on the right is called Roehampton Road. It's not, it's called Roehampton Drive, but it's just by the Aberdale pub. So we turn from Shackerdale Road into Roehampton Drive, and one thing you'll notice about this area that we're coming into now is there's a few parked cars, and they're parked as they should be, kind of all on the road. Not loads of people. We're going to turn left here, by the way, into Baldwin Road. I know that people park on the curbs and things like that. That's fine, isn't it? You know, people turn a blind eye to that. But along here, you'll see there's a few that's parked completely on the road, and that's a good thing for the examiners, because then they can ask you to do a parallel park. The system you're using, though, for parallel parking should also work for cars that are parked half on the road and half on the curb. So here's one, for instance, and it may be asked to do a parallel park using any one of these cars along this line. Also on Baldwin Road, what they used to do in the olden days, in the good old days, is they would do 3-point turns up here quite a lot as well, because it's quite a wide road and you can see a long way from either direction. But today, as we come back to the end of Baldwin Road, we're going to turn left. And turning left here brings us on to Welford Road. Now it's 8:10 in the morning, so it's quite early, and that means I can't go into the bus lane. The bus lane is in operation between 7:30 and 9:30 Monday to Friday, so I'm not allowed in there. Now as I come to these lights, we're going to go straight ahead at these lights. My advice is to stay in the right hand lane just on this particular one. You would normally go in the left lane, but when we get the opposite side of this crossroads, that left lane, that one which is kind of lane 2, if we're in lane 3, lane 2 there, that disappears into a bus lane. So if you move into that lane, you're only going to have to move back out of it again on the opposite side of this junction. So you're probably better to stay in the right hand lane, or the kind of lane 3 here, I suppose you could say, just while you're waiting for the lights to change. And then you'll see when we get the opposite side of the junction here that you won't need to change lanes again. Lights are about to change for us. There they go. So we're going over the box junction. If you just look at this blue car on our left here, you can see that as he gets to here, he's now having to move in or merge into our lane. And we've not had to do anything like that. We've just driven in a straight line. So as we come to the next set of lights, though, we're going to turn left. And and we can cross into the bus lane, so to speak, when the line breaks. So the line's broken now and we can move in there, and also the bus lane has ended at this section. We'll turn left into here, so we're on Welford Road, and now we're turning left into Aberdale Road. Now, the one reason that they bring us to Aberdale Road is so that they can get us to turn right at the crossroads ahead of us. And that crossroads, you know, it's on quite a lot. It features quite heavily on the test routes around Wigston in Leicester. It features more often, actually, than the Pork Pie Island. So it's a good idea to get to know this junction because, you know, it's heavily featured on the test routes. We're going to turn right as we come down to the traffic lights. So we're in the right hand lane, and if you look at the road markings, you can see there's arrows on the road, and they're kind of guiding you as to where to go. So we're going to go over the arrow, we're going to drive over the arrow that says turn right there. We're going to go far enough into the junction before we turn to make us turn into the left hand lane as we come into Asquith Way. So on Asquith Way now, and this, although it looks like it should be a 40 or 50 mile an hour road, it's actually only 30, so do be careful, do keep your speed appropriate to the road. The only other thing about Asquith Way really is you will be the only car on the road that's doing 30. Even it's a bit busier now, isn't it, just in this bit. You can see we're doing bang on 30, and the car ahead of us is getting away from us. When we get to the roundabout though, we're going to turn left, and that'll be the first exit off Asquith Way at the roundabout here. It is clear, and it's going to take us into Windley Road. Now the thing you should notice about Windley Road is it's a 20 mile an hour zone. So good idea here just to leave the car in second gear. That will help you to stay at 20 or below, and then just kind of negotiate your way over the speed bumps. Speed bumps on here are quite high, so they really want you to slow down, don't they, along here. They've made the speed bumps ridiculously high, and also they put a 20 sign up. So, you know, take the hint. Take the hint, that's it. Stay at 20 or below all the way along. It will feel really slow because it's a wide road, particularly this bit. It's a wide road, it's a straight road, and 20 mile an hour will feel slow. And if it does, that's good, because that's it's meant to be. I'm going to turn left at the end of it though. And when we turn left here, we'll be turning into Stonesby Avenue. And it looks like there's going to be a space for us here now. Someone there wearing his Leicester City top, well done, good man. And we're going to turn right here now into Glen Road. Let's wait for space. I'm being flashed, that's let me through, that's fine, thank you very much, sir. We've now turned into Glen Road. And you'll notice, you'll know now that you're on your way back to the test centre. But just as we come up here, we can see that we've got a couple of temporary traffic signs, and they're telling us that there's roadworks, and actually on the opposite side of the road it becomes quite narrow, and we can see there that we've got a van that's parked, and also, yeah, there's the roadworks here, so I'm just going to let this fella through. And this one as well, apparently I'm letting him through as well. There you go. I just think, you know, if it means that much to you, you go, it's fine, I don't mind. There we are. And we come around here now, and this is where it turns into Gloucester Crescent, where it looks like, very much like there's an abandoned car there. very strangely parked. So we'll get around him. We're just going to take our way all the way now to the end of Gloucester Crescent. So we've got a cyclist here to negotiate. Now we know the new rules brought in last year about cyclists is by law now you have to give them you know, almost more room than they need. So you have to give them a good wide berth. So if he fell off that bike, I still wouldn't run over him. So I can't overtake him yet because I can't see far enough ahead, and I can't give him a wide enough berth. I can't go, you know, because there's just not enough room. So do bear that in mind. He's turning off there anyway, so that leaves us free now to carry on and make progress. Quite a tight space. I'm just dropping the car into second. There you go, just to make sure I can get through there quite safely. Less space, less speed. I'm sure you've heard your instructor say that. I seem to say it about 8, 12, 10, 15, maybe even 30 or 40 times a day. So less space, less speed. And here I'm just timing my approach so I can move out of the way of the lorry, and I'm going to slow down enough so that there's a space there after the car. So I'm kind of creating, you can then kind of create a space on the road that you can drive into just by looking ahead and planning. You need to be doing that all the time, don't you, really? Particularly if you're on your test or you're training in the last few sessions leading up to your test. Your forward planning, your kind of anticipation of what's going to happen next is absolutely vital, and it is the thing, it is the difference between someone passing and someone failing very, very often. So as we come to the end of Gloucester Crescent, we'll be turning left at the mini roundabout here. So it's a mini roundabout which would suggest second, but it's quite blind on our right hand side. So again, we're just going to get first and we're just going to creep forward, and good job we did, because there's a big lorry there, look, coming through, and he wasn't stopping or slowing down for us. So we've been quite wise and just waited here. We're just going to ease forward a bit more so I've got a better view. Then we're going to inch forward again, looking both ways and making sure that it's clear for us to move. As we come along here then now, we're on Saffron Road now, so we turn left from Gloucester Crescent onto Saffron Road, and we'll be turning soon right back into Tigers Road where the test centre is. And it's this mini roundabout here, so we're just going to turn right into this here. Just going to drop the car back into second gear again just as I approach, just to make sure that I'm going slow enough to deal with anything that might turn up. Nothing has done. And there we are, we're coming back to, and the test centre is now on our right, and that is test route number 5. So I'll see you in the next test, next route. Cheers.